Next is Kathy Rodriquez of CSEA. Kathy?
Hi, my name is Kathy Rodriguez, and I am a public safety dispatcher at Orange County 911. I represent approximately 1,400 members of people that work for Orange County. It's been rather strange for all of us that work for Orange County. We have many workers that have been deemed essential that have never been essential before, such as our social service staff and our public workers, because they're desperately dealing with many desperate people that need public assistance. They need SNAP, which is food stamps, and they need help to fill the gap from their lost income from COVID. Our DPW workers have been cleaning work sites to make them safe for the rest of us that have to work there, maintaining our landfills, sewer plant, and highways. Our non-essential staff, some of them have been relocated to areas such as working in the call center for when people call for assistance and help them. Our health department, they do a lot of work with very few people. What I do is I take phone calls from the public 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, whether it's sunny, whether it's snowy, or whether we're in virus conditions. What happens is people get very, very upset. In Orange County, we have approximately 340,000 people. When 340,000 people don't know who to turn, a lot of times they call 911. Unfortunately, we don't know which call is an emergency call or a non-emergency call till we answer the call. So we will answer the call, we will get information from them, which sometimes they're not the most forthcoming with information. And a lot of times, because Orange County is so big, it's over 800 square miles, people don't know where they are. If you have a car accident and you're on Highway 17 or Interstate 84, there's mile markers on the side of the road and you can tell me where you're at. And with using the technology from your cell phone, we can usually figure out where you are. If you're in the city of Newburgh and you dial 911, and you don't know where you are, it's a lot harder to find you using the GPS graph information and technology. So we need to know where you are so we can send you the help. In Orange County, we dispatch all the fire companies, police agencies, and ambulances, as well as highway department trucks from the county. And we also, unfortunately, do all the medical examiner calls, which we've lost over 300 people to this terrible disease, in addition to our regular people that just pass away. So it gets to be very depressing, and it's not always a fun job, for lack of better things to say. Why is our job, what I do, important? Well, if I wasn't there, or one of my coworkers, and you called for help and no one answered the phone, what would happen? You wouldn't get your ambulance, your house would burn down, you'd have an accident, people could be killed, and they wouldn't get the help that they needed. So it's very important that when we speak to the caller, we get the proper information and we send the correct resources. In Orange County, we have a resource problem. Just like many other communities across the United States, we don't have the volunteers that we used to have. The fire departments and the ambulance corps are understaffed. Sometimes they have great difficulty getting a crew together so they can go to their emergency. So then we have to go to mutual aid, which means you get another agency to come and help. It makes for a very, very difficult job of getting help there in a timely manner sometimes. What am I proud of? The countless people that are helped by the services that we provide. We are considered to be the first responders. Sometimes the 911 dispatcher is the only contact you'll ever have with any emergency services in your entire life, if you're lucky. If you're not as lucky, you will get to meet the fire department or the police officers or the ambulance people. But what I'm proud of is everything starts with us. When you call, it's our job to get the info. It's our job to maintain the phone line with you to try to get more information for our responders, such as if it's a domestic situation, is there a weapon involved? We're responsible for the responders' safety as well. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of things that you're doing simultaneously, and you definitely have to be a multitask person. A person off the street, if you put them in that chair, they wouldn't last very long, because you have to really be able to do a lot of things. And quite a few of them we have to have different trainings on and we're certified in, such as CPR, that type of thing. What do I need to be able to do my work and to live my life? Well, we need support from the community. We need enough skilled people to fill the jobs. We have a very difficult time being fully staffed. We hire people. They go, first of all, to get the job, you have to take a civil service test. Then you're going to go and you'll get hired. You'll get trained for 6 weeks through various programs and things we do. And then you'll come out on the floor and you'll be trained by a trainer so that you're never alone. It's a very, very long and extensive training, people, and unfortunately, some people don't make it out of the training. It's a very tough and demanding job, and it's really, really stressful. Many of our calls are brutal, and you have to use our training every day to be able to keep the caller calm, to keep the caller safe, and to tell them the right thing to do. Things just as simple as if your house is on fire, to get everybody outside. People forget to do that. You'd be surprised. They want to stand there and they want to tell you what's going on, but they need to leave the house. We don't want them to get hurt. And if they close the door behind them, it's going to give the fire company more time to fight the fire, and maybe we won't lose the entire house. What problems are we facing? Trying to find good people who can do the jobs, and some other things like the lack of mile markers on state roadways. If you're driving down, I'm going to use a state highway as an example. Say you're on State Route 211. State Route 211 runs from the town of Deer Park and it runs into Montgomery. There's no consistent street numbers. Each town has their own set of street numbers. When you get to a certain point, then it turns into the name of the road changes to whether it's 211 East or 211 West. That's whether it's east of the city of Middletown or west of the city of Middletown. Then you go through the town of Walk Hill and you get into Montgomery. If we had mile markers that make sense on the side of the roadway, if someone has an accident, they would be able to say, I'm by mile 22, and we would know right where they are and whose jurisdiction it is. What we do on a day-to-day basis is we make Orange County work. We don't get a lot of credit for being the first responders, and when we have the ask to the elected officials, I'll explain that a little more, but that's what I do for a living, and I love my job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy.